If you're seeing this, you're probably clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, or have very unique spiritual gifts. Some of you guys are meant to be readers, oracles, mediums, but you have to get very familiar with internalizing the messages that you receive. You have to understand you are a divine channel. So you are going to pick up on many different frequencies. The biggest thing always is deciphering what messages are for the collective and what messages are for you. Before I read or before I give messages, I always ask, what does the collective need to know? I'm an objective reader. I never spill my personal feelings or whatever I'm going through in my readings. A lot of the times you'll see people have a hard time with differentiating the two. So sometimes people will give messages based on what they're going through, and it's situations that you've already gotten through or whatever the case may be. That's why I always say be very careful with collective readings and make sure that you are following up with clarity if there is something that you have concerns about. If you need confirmations of your spiritual gifts, you can always book a general reading with me. You can go directly to my website, which is breezetales.com, or you can go in my TikTok page and just go from there because it's linked there. So a lot of the times you'll realize that you're picking up on a lot of different energy. And then people will wonder, like, why am I feeling this? A lot of times I'll do readings for people and they'll ask me, different questions. And a lot of times they're picking up on energy that's not theirs or reliving situations or whatever the case may be that they have already gotten over. Also, I do love doing general readings when it comes to spiritual gifts because, oh my gosh, I'm scratching my nose. Because a lot of the times people will think they have certain spiritual gifts, which 9 times out of 10 will be true, but then they are very blown away to know about the other gifts that they have that they're not using that lay dormant. So it's like, yes, you're gifted in this one area, but you're also supposed to incorporate it with X, Y, and Z. Also, be very gentle with yourself as well, because it takes a lot to be a reader, to be a channeler. A lot of the times people don't really understand what goes into the work that we do and that you're meant to do, because the thing is, sometimes people think it's just picking up the phone and just talking, or it's just, reading some cards, when in reality, it's very much a lot of emotions, a lot of different frequencies. So whether you're meant to be a reader, a healer, whatever, if you're doing any spiritual work, or even if it's not spiritual work and you're working with people and it's intuitive, you are going to need to recharge and give yourself moments to recharge, and also know how to turn off your channel. I do mention different tips and tricks on how to do that in my tarot series, which you can purchase here. I'm going to put the link. It is on TikTok. It gives you successful tips on how to set yourself up for being an objective reader, and that you are reading so you're not completely drained. I don't know if you guys see this redness. I've been scratching my eye a little bit. I feel like that's just, I don't know why I'm hearing eye for an eye. That's very weird. But also remember, when you are a reader, and I'm just going to decipher the eye for an eye. When you're a reader, realize that a lot of the times people will try to target you spiritually. You'll notice, like, when you get into healing work, you get into being a reader, a channeler, the spiritual attacks will come even harder than they were before, because you are living in your divine purpose and doing your divine work. So you also need to know how to protect yourself. A lot of the times when I'm reading on here or I'm giving a divine message, it's really sweet, but a lot of times people think that I'm going through that specific thing at that moment. But I'm an objective reader, and I'm also a very private person. So unless I come out and say, hey, this is exactly what I'm going through at this moment, you guys don't need to worry. And it goes into, like I mentioned in most of my other videos as well, you'll go through certain situations in your life because you're meant to share them to help other people who are going through them at a specific time or whatever. Because a lot of the messages I share are like from years ago. But I feel called to say them because somebody in that specific moment needs that message. But remember, you also need to know how to turn those things off if you don't always feel like receiving those messages. Me, I tend to keep my channel open and then I close it at the times where I'm done receiving messages for that day. You guys are very powerful. And a lot of the times people will turn away from using their gifts because it can be draining. It could be a lot, and it'll just be like, listen, I just kind of want to get out of this. But remember, everything is about balance. And with the right tools, you can go far. You can do literally anything. Anything is possible. I linked the series there, so definitely check it out. I also did write an ebook, which is available on my website, where I go over different spiritual gifts. So if you didn't want to get a reading and you like to actually read books, things like that, I cover how to protect yourself, readings and all of that in my ebook that's available on my website, breezetales.com. You are divine. You are meant to shine. Do not hide your gifts. But also know how to not take things home with you. Because remember, you have to look at it kind of like clocking in and clocking out. You are not supposed to take your work home with you. And if you guys are mediums, then you already know when you are receiving those messages from the other side and from people who have transitioned over, listen. So make sure you are recharging your energy and you're always doing things that make you happy after you do readings or whatever the case may be, so that you can get back in your energetic field. Also, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube, which is Breezetales, because I am releasing more videos and I just released a video today. I will be going live on my YouTube, so make sure you have those notifications on.